Hey there, GISers. It's Angela. I hope everyone's doing really well. In this tutorial, we're going to go through another way of searching for information, data, in order to really fully utilize ArcGIS Pro. And so there are several ways that you can add data to projects. And so we're going to go through one of them. So what you're going to go ahead and do now is, first of all, really important, make sure that you're signed into your organization. So I'm good. You're going to come to your home page. You're going to look at some of your most recent projects, where they're saved, and you're going to click on Open Another Project. Now, depending on the version of ArcGIS Pro that you're in, this view could look a little bit different. Now, if you're in the most recent version, 2.8, you're going to have several more options here. One of them being ArcGIS Online. Now, maybe for most of you, you're going to have a tab here that says All Portal. All Portal is really a catch-all as well for ArcGIS Online. And then you're going to notice here that it is going to tell you that you're searching which portal you're searching, All Portal, which also includes ArcGIS Online. You can also search within your organization, and then you can also search within the active portal, which is exactly what we want to do. And then it's obviously going to tell you the files that you have running in your computer. So right now what you're going to do is we're going to look for a previous project, and it's a tutorial called Add Data to a Project. We're just going to click Add Data. It's really important that you make sure that the owner is an ArcGIS Pro tutorial, which is exactly what it is. And if you're curious about doing other tutorials, you've got a few more here, like Make a Layout, which we'll be going over really soon as well. So go ahead and click on that, click OK. You'll notice that you're looking at projects with a certain file attachment. All right, and it looks like we're being taken again to Wellington, New Zealand. What you're going to notice here already is that quite a few things. In our layers, we've got a world ocean base, and then we've got a world ocean reference. So the base is going to be a base map. This base map is showing topography. And then we've got our ocean reference, where if you notice, if you turn that off, we don't have any points of reference. The other thing you'll notice here as well is that we're looking at Wellington, New Zealand, and we have the option for two different viewpoints, a 2D or a 3D as well. The other item that you'll notice is that we've got two views up. In the past, the reason why I pause is in the past, we used to call them panels, and we don't call them that anymore. So if you want to make sure that you're working online and all systems are firing, you go ahead and click View, Reset Panes, and Reset Panes for mapping to make sure that you've got the viewpoint that you need right now in order to be mapping and to be mapping online. So when you have that, you've got your catalog pane and your content pane open. I almost say panels because that's what we used to use. That's the name that we used to give them in the previous semester. And now we're calling them panes. So we have the contents pane, which is letting us know about the layers that we've got going, obviously in the order that we have them. And a new one that we've previously not utilized in ArcGIS mapping is a catalog pane. The reason why this is important is this is where we're always going to be looking for data. So previous, we were fed data, we were given data, someone had it, someone gave it to us, and we pulled it up and we used it. Well, now we're going to need to have this catalog open because we're going to be pulling data from various places. Now, one of the first places that we're going to go to over here in catalog is we're going to click on portal. And then you're going to notice that You got 4 options here. Now, if you're working in ArcGIS 2.8, which most of us won't be, but if you're at work, chances are that you're pretty close to it, you're going to have a few other options here as well. For right now, what you want to do is click on the portal tab, which is a cloud, and then you're going to want to click on the Living Atlas. Now, for this section, what we're going to be doing is adding data from ArcGIS Living Atlas of the world. Now, the important part about ArcGIS Living Atlas is that it is online content. And this content is really information because the Living Atlas is an online forum of curated items shared through ArcGIS. And so what you're going to be able to notice is that you can find many layers to meet your needs using ArcGIS Living Atlas of the world. And it's a collection of global geographic information. Maps and layers from ArcGIS Living Atlas can be added directly into ArcGIS Pro. And that's what this tab is here, and a really big part of this primary section for part 1 and part 2 of this lab. So you're going to go ahead and click on the drop down for categories. Then you're going to come down here to environment. And let's make sure that I'm... And so make sure that you're searching within Living Atlas and environment. And then you're going to click on Hillshade. World Hillshade. And then you're going to want to click on the World Hillshade tile layer. Not with that projection. And that's it right there. All right, so you're going to right click and you're going to say add to current map, and that you'll notice that that World Hillshade pops up over here. You can go ahead and move that around. The order of the layers does matter. And it's not moving really well right now. There we go. It finally moved. That's not where I want it. I want it on the bottom. All right, let me go ahead and make sure that we're on the right page here. Now, if your Hillshade brought you into like a global view, then all you're going to have to do is make sure you go back to map, and you're going to click the back arrow, which means back to previous extent. So back to the previous extent of this map. So for example, if you click on World Hillshade, and then, so that's zoom in and zoom out. If you go ahead and right click on there, click on zoom to layer, and then you're going to notice what happens when it shows you the full extent of what this layer is. So this is how it's going to come to you. And then what you're going to do is make sure that you click the back arrow, which means that you want to zoom back to the extent of the map that you are working in. All right. We want to make sure that the World Hillshade is definitely below the World Ocean Base. And then what we want to do again is we want to make sure that we go back to the catalog here, the catalog pane. We're going to click on portal again. We're going to come back to the Living Atlas. We're not looking for hillshade anymore, and we're not searching in environment either more. So we're going to back up there. We're going to click on categories, and we want to expand down to boundaries. And then in the search bar, we want to click light gray canvas reference local language. And there it is. And then we want to make sure we add to current map. Okay. Then you'll notice that we've kind of got a problem. So we've got a light gray canvas reference that's over. So if we take off our world ocean reference, you'll notice because we've got two different pieces of reference going on here. And we don't need both. And to be honest, we don't want both. So we're going to come to world ocean reference, and we're going to go ahead and get rid of it because we don't need it. And then what we're going to go ahead and do here is we're going to right click on light gray, this light gray layer, canvas. We're going to go down to properties, and we're going to want to rename it. It's kind of a long name because this is really the layer that we need for to reference our place names. The other thing is if you would like to get an idea of the metadata for each layer, you can go ahead and click on the metadata as well. So, all right, now we have renamed that. And then the next thing that we want to do is make sure that that layer, that reference layer, is clicked. And we're going to come up here to the vector tile layer and click on appearance. And then in the effects ribbon, we're going to want to come here up into transparency. And we're going to want to click on 25%. See what that does. All right. And then in the visibility range, we just also want to make sure that if we zoom out or zoom in, that this reference layer is going to show up when we get to a specific view. So when we come into this visibility range, you've got two options here. You've got in beyond or out beyond. So what we're going to do is that we want to make sure that the place names won't display when you zoom in closer than 1 for every 24,000. So what we're going to do there is we're going to make sure that we say in beyond. We want to make sure that we don't see anything in beyond here. So that means that watch when we zoom in, if we get super, super close, we're going to make sure that we don't get a view of what we really don't need. So that if you want to clear it, you can clear those limits if you'd like to. But remember, we set those limits for a reason. So if you want to start over, you absolutely can. We still have our reference points. It looks good. We can go ahead and zoom back in again. And we've got Wellington Harbor. And then we can make sure that we come over here and back to save. Want to make sure you save it because we're going to be moving on to the next segment.